The sunset was extremely beautiful as I stepped out of the west wing. The clear orange color shone straight to my soul. Dang. I've become easily moved by this incident, and almost came to tears just out of graciousness towards peacefulness. I hung on, willing myself against crying. There were a lot of students about, and a feeder high school was just on the other side of the gate to the west wing. There were a number of high school girls going home, too. I didn't want to embarrass myself as a university student. But then, I realized one of them was staring at me. Her black hair was pretty, she had white skin, and was slender. Her uniform figure was blinding, and just by standing, she looked like she was from a different world. Wait, what? I eventually realized that I recognized that girl, and couldn't restrain myself from running to her. Wait, are you Yoshi? And then the girl turned her glass bead-like eyes to me. It is her. Oh, you. Her sleepy response made me realize she wasn't looking at me. Yoshi was wearing a school uniform, and perhaps as a fault of her looks, stood out. Even in such an appearance, she seemed distant from daily life. Hey, what a coincidence. You attend our feeder school? What year are you? I spoke to her with a full smile. That had nothing to do with you. Yoshi's response was quite cold. There was none of her bedazzled, vitality-filled look anymore that she had when looking upon the paranormal. I hadn't come to school in a while, and I shouldn't have come at all, she said with annoyance, and I noticed she didn't have the sharp smell from before. It seemed she'd taken a bath. Glossy hair, an ironed white blouse, a black tie. I narrowed my eyes as I gazed at her contrast from before and said, Pretty good. What is? Your looks. You look more clean, and your uniform suits you. However, Yoshi turned her back to me, saying I was pathetic. I intended to praise her, but it apparently just annoyed her. If it's nothing, I'm going. She turned on her heel, and I hurriedly stopped her. You were staring over there. Did you want something from Krishna? Krishna. She seemed to react to that word, as life seemed to return to her glass beads. I see. Kaikabuchi is here. Her response to the occult was pretty good. I felt like I was being driven mad as I continued talking in that direction. I'm indebted to you a bit, too. I heard all about that house. I didn't know there were things like subconscious confusion over a building. Man, I freaked out a bit when I learned the truth. I was probably on a high from having been released from my fears. I kept talking. I talked on and on. Everything I'd heard from Krishna, the truth about the incident, about the architecture of the house, about the will of the architect, and even about the problems of contemporary Japan. However, Yoshi didn't react at all. Without even glancing at me, she said, That's good, and continued walking without any trace of emotion. That made me feel a bit lonely, so I chased after her, bothered by her body language. What is it? You seem pretty depressed. Is there anything else on your mind? And when I said that, I remembered. Come to think of it, that day she said at that house, Have you noticed? Right. What did she notice at that time? I asked her and she stopped. And then she slowly turned around and asked back. Do you really want to hear? I felt like those black cold eyes would swallow me, and I heard something inside my urging me to stop. That I shouldn't learn anymore, it warned. You can still turn back, said Yoshi. You know what they say. If you peer from this side, they can see you too. Krishna had said that as well, and I felt goosebumps. But I wonder why. That moment, I had a bizarre sense of excitement. That I wanted to see the world as she viewed it. That I wanted to stand where she stood. That I wanted to know why her words always seemed to sway my world. I'll listen. Tell me. When I said that, was I seeing things, or did Yoshi seem to have a slightly forlorn look? However, I would realize later that this was a fork. A story about waiting in the bizarre, grotesque, helpless darkness of man. The boundary between that world and this world, the journey around the Ikai Kabuchi, began this moment. Oh. After a moment, Yoshi nodded and then began speaking. I was always wondering why was it called the House that Grants Wishes? Why? Because the title lacks a subject. Whose wish? And those words gave me chills, and I immediately began regretting my decision. That house isn't a house of hope. I just felt an incredible source of malice. Yoshi whispered, with the expression of a queen who'd been locked away in a dark castle alone for 1,000 years. The architect that had disappeared while loving strange buildings, the countdown that began with 7, the mysterious space under the stairs, the house that grants wishes. There's a single answer that ties everything together. My goosebumps wouldn't go away. What was she trying to say? What was about to show itself? The girl Yoshi's dark eyes glimmered as she spoke. The architect is still inside those stairs. Wait? Of course, he isn't alive, but then everything ties together. Why there's a meaningless space under the stairs, why it became named the House that Grants Wishes, and why the numbers began with 7. Wait, doesn't explain anything. It didn't start from 7 because it was originally 10 and I had just coincidentally written it over a scratch wrong. Her words twisted my world. You originally wrote 10. You're right to that point. But there was never a scratch to begin with. Someone added a scratch and changed it to 7. But why can you say that? I saw. What? That on top of your 10, someone had added a scratch to make it 7. Then when Krishna said that there was no ghost in the house, and then Yoshi looked in the direction of the west wing with sadness. There's no better fortune than living with bliss. Ha! That is that person's kindness in what I lack. Ah, yes, this is so much better! I was going to go mad if I didn't laugh. You're lying, aren't you? You're making this all up, aren't you? Or is that an occult story you read somewhere? I laughed, praying that that was the case. Yoshi gave me a sympathizing look, a grieving look. Everything's the truth, because I could no longer respond, and Yoshi quietly landed the final blow. When you were carried out, some man I'd never seen before was clicking his tongue on the stairs. Woo! As the world spun around me, Yoshi's cold, sweet voice reverberated. Welcome to the world on this side. What? Whoa! What is happening? Oh, these are credits! So this is the end of the first story, I imagine? Character design. Okay. Interesting. I will say I do like that ending way better than the first one. The whole, it was in your head. Well then how do you explain that dream? Because if he was subconsciously imagining himself as an old man, right? Of course, how would he, why would it be that image? And then, he did tell Yoichi that's what the ghost looks like. I don't know. I hope this continues, but I have a feeling that these credits mean that that's the end of this tale, as it were. I don't know how far, because there's supposed to be 5 chapters. But, so this is chapter 1 and 2. No, not 5 chapters, 5 stories? I'll get back to you on that. I can't remember. But if that was it, then that is way too short. Wait, what? Okay, okay. What is going on? What the heck? What is going on? Kawa no dawa. Buy it. Oh my goodness, was that only the first story? No. It was! Aw, that's disappointing. Alright, so I guess that is all of the stories available in this version of the game that I have. I found this translated version online. The translation is not me, so I do not claim any credit, but pros to whoever did the translation. I'll put them in the description. Fantastic job, for the most part. A few typos there and there, but that's not their fault. They're not paid to do this. It's a fan translation, so I appreciate that I understood the meaning. That's the most important part with translation. Even if you have a few spelling errors and maybe some odd word choices, as long as I understand like the gist of what you're trying to say, then I'm okay with that. Because bad translation is when you have no idea what's going on, and of course that's bad translation. So that's why I'm trying to defend myself here a bit, that some of my translations aren't perfect. But, you know, I'm doing this for free, quotation marks. So I'm not trying to make it 100% perfect, because I'm not being paid to do it. And you know what? I just want enough that you guys can understand it, I can understand it, and we can enjoy the story together, which is the important part. Okay, so I looked into what the heck is going on in Phenomeno. There is misinformation everywhere. But basically, they only came out with 2 cases. The first one we played, and the second one is just the novel. There's no video game aspect to it. It's all in Japanese. I haven't looked for an English translation quite yet, but if there is interest, I guess I could translate it. Because I feel like this story just this world just ended, which is a little sad, because I really got into it. So yeah, definitely put down the comments below or send me a message on Twitter. I think I might just do it for the heck of it, because I'm interested, but so other than that, thank you guys so much for sticking me through with Phenomeno. Sucks that it's over, but if you would like to hear about more, then please let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you later.